Hello, everyone, and welcome to the debut edition of the Duke Show. With me here, a very influential man. On my right here is Pastor Charles from Divine Life Ministries, and on my left is Pastor Maxwell from Father's Tabernacle International. Welcome, gentlemen, to the show. Without much ado, I'd like us to delve into the reason why we're here. It's been very controversial. We've all had a fair share of this topic that we're about to talk. And what better people to talk about this than two people who have actually gone past the stage of this topic and are actually, into the main thing. The topic that we're going to discuss in today is relationships.
There are certain things we must understand about it. One time I heard a friend define love and said, love is a feeling you feel when you feel something you've never felt before. And, it's kind of nice and it's a good rhyme, but in itself, it's not the truth. Because there are times in relationship where you don't feel anything. And what will keep you going then? Is it the feelings you had before or something different? So to me, I think more is love. Love is more of a commitment rather than a feeling. It's a conscious decision on doing something regardless of how you feel. Yes, it's good to have a feeling, but you don't wake up every day in marriage and you're having that good feeling. But still, it doesn't change the love you have for the person.
Okay, so in general, you're saying that it's more than just a feeling.
Far more than that.
That's wonderful. That's very wonderful. By the way, before I continue, I'd like to ask, what's life like as married men? Is it much sweeter in the single days or sweeter now?
I think the testimony you see should speak for itself.
Yeah, of course, it's very obvious. What about you, Pastor Maxwell?
He was talking to me earlier today, just before the show, and he was like, Pastor, your tummy is going bigger. I was like, yeah, I'm trying to even go to the gym to reduce it. And he's like, there's something about it. It seems like when you get married, there is something that comes with big tummy, it's just part of it. I think truly, yeah, it is, Yes, there are tough times in the marriage, but overall, I think it's great.
That's wonderful. Then another question that we've had over the couple of years that is so very confusing is this: why are so many relationships in disharmony? What is that reason that many relationships, 80% of relationships, why are they in disharmony? What can you say about it, Pastor Charles?
The Bible clearly states that where there is no vision, then you can expect anything good. I like the way the NCV puts it when it says that where there is no vision, then disorder is the order of the day. You see, if in a relationship there is no vision, there is no purpose, the people don't even know why they are there in the first place, you can't expect anything out of it. You see, God is the author of relationships. And that's why I like to define relationships or refer back to God when we talk about relationships, because you cannot make the most out of anything except you relate with the manufacturer. He authored relationships. He knows the way they should function, and he defined the roles. He defined the way things should be. So if we want to have a good relationship, we would have to use the master style. We have to use the manuscript that is given us. And the major reason why many relationships are in trouble is because they are functioning out of the order. You see, so when they rediscover the purpose of relationships, then we can be sure to have a swell time.
Okay, good. Pastor Maxwell. Moving a little bit out of the context of, because we can say God is the author of relationship, but in all honesty, 90% of the times in a relationship, we kind of eliminate God. So moving a little bit out of the context of God, what can you say is the cause or are the causes of disharmony in relationships?
Well, I don't think we can move away from God.
Okay.
Like he said, for you to understand love, then you must meet the one who made love, who brought forth love to us, and that is God. So God is the very essence of love. But to still go further to your question, I believe that we need to come to a point where we realize that people who go into a relationship are two separate individuals. And the major problem we have is our expectation for the other person. You know, we expect this person to be this and that. And the person expects us to be this and that, but we're used to a particular style of life. For the whole period of our life, we grew up in different environments, different personalities, you know, different families, and we have our background already. You don't expect someone to change overnight. It's quite difficult. And what we want from a relationship is expect the person to be who we want them to be, forgetting that they have been something else or somebody else. And that process takes a while. And why we want to change people, we must realize too that they want us to change. So while we're changing them, we have to change ourselves, work on ourselves also. There has to be a middle ground. We can't have our way always. It's not possible.
Thank you very much. So you are saying in essence that, just from your conclusion right now, that the idea of fixing, because I've had many friends say, okay, well, you get into it, you change the person, you inspire the person to change and all that. Are you saying that that idea of changing the person to a certain state where they become, in quote, perfect, is a wrong idea? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I think as humans, we must realize that you cannot change someone completely. You can't. Yes, you can influence the person to a certain degree, but it's impossible to change the person. You can't change me. I'll have to be the one to change myself. You can influence me, but it's my place to decide whether I want to accept it or reject it.
Thank you very much. Another question that I'd like for you to answer, I'd love for you to answer is this. I've had many people say, especially girls, because I believe in relationships that are the most hot. They cry about it. With all due respect, I respect girls very well, but you know, they most complain. So I'd like this question to be treated in their favor. I've had a girl say, oh gee, I've been hurt so many times, almost my life story is about guys hurting me, and I want to lock my heart. I don't want to give any guy my time so that they don't mess me up emotionally. What do you have to say? What's your advice to those people? Let me start with Pastor Maxwell.
Well, they have been hurt severally. That's because they chose to be hurt in the relationship.
Are you saying that we have a choice to be? I mean, we give our emotions when you're in a relationship. You unwillingly surrender your emotions to the other person, and you have no choice over it.
And that's where the problem lies. The person you are to give your emotions to, without reservation, is God, because He's the only one who can handle your life and not hurt you. It goes back to the same expectation. We expect this from this person. And when that doesn't come to pass, we get hurt. Now, ladies are not the only ones who get hurt in a relationship. Guys get hurt. In fact, if I want to put my own life history, I've shared it several times in church. It's all from ladies, women, and the likes, you know. But I made a decision that all women are not the same. And it wasn't all the women that did whatever happened to me. So I don't have to judge all of them based on what few have done. And that's where most ladies get it wrong, to say all men are the same. You know, because of the few experiences they've had. You know, several times when I hear ladies talk about that, I ask them, how many men do you know? Do you actually know up to 1,000 men? Even if you put the ratio at 1,000, and let's agree 1,000 of them hurt you, compare it with how many men are on the face of the earth. If someone has, for example, $1 billion and he gives out $1,000, does that make the man a poor man?
He's still a very rich man.
Still a billionaire. So it's strange for people to say because few men are cheats, then all men are. Because few men are this, then all men are. I believe we find the same problem both in male and female. It's just how well we handle it.
Okay, well, before I get to you, Pastor Charles, your question is going to be, how do we eliminate this mindset? Because it's so cancerous that it eats deep into us. But let me get back to him. When you said the only person you are allowed to give your emotions without reservation is God, I mean, isn't it one-sided when you're in a relationship and you say, okay, I'm going to give half, I'm going to commit half? We all expect full commitment. We all expect full, emotional, supplying your emotion fully to the person. Because when you are deprived of something, you feel bad. So I want to ask, what are you saying very well? If you can, clearly point out, are we supposed to love half and keep half? Is that not a wrong concept?
That will go back again to your definition of love. For me, I see love more as a commitment rather than a feeling. So, I am committed to making it work. I will do the best I can, but see, there are certain things I cannot do. There are times where it's beyond my power to do certain things. And I would be wrong also to trust someone else to be able to meet all my needs. Because there are times the person will have to fail me. Which means, for me, the only person I should trust to deliver 100% is God. So, while I expect some things from my partner, I understand that there are times she might not be able to meet all of it. That's what I'm saying. So I don't put my trust 100% into it that, yes, she must be able to. Only God I can do.
Knowing that there are times she, as a human being, can disappoint.
And it might not be intentional.
Okay, very good. What's your take on this, Pastor Charles?
It's very interesting to hear you say that ladies are the victims, because I think it's 50-50. I've had young men who attempted suicide for the same reason. And I don't think anyone wants to take his or her life for a joke. He must have gotten to the climax.
I think it must be a joke for you to want to commit suicide because someone helps you.
No, there's several of them. And at a point, I thought maybe it's peculiar to these Asians, because some of them love not only with their hearts, they love with their heads and everything that they have, and
their fingernails and all that.
I'm telling you, and sometimes when you consider the situation, you marvel at what they are loving for. But it boils down to the point I made earlier about purpose. It is difficult to mend a relationship or to avoid getting hurt when there was no purpose. It's difficult. You see, so the primary reason would be, what exactly is the purpose? The young lady or the young man should not even consider being in a relationship until they have a clear-cut answer for this. Now, Adam wasn't given a wife because he was jobless, or because God thought he was alone in a sense. There was a reason God gave him the woman. Now, the reason for Christian relationships is to culminate in marriage. Now, if marriage is the idea, then we should not be beginning a relationship that we have no marriage in view. When that is in place, so some of the yeses that they say will be cut short. And then we have only few situations to mend. And then those few situations we have to, because some people tell you clearly, we are not going to get married. We are just, we're classmates, we're group mates, we're housemates. Let's just mend, let's just stay until...
Well, isn't that a very sickening mentality?
It is very sick, and I guess the doctors will find something to do about it. But this time, not medical doctors, we need word doctors here. Because it's absurd. It's absurd. It's a society where people want to belong. People want to no one wants to be the odd man or the odd woman out. Sometimes because roommates, classmates, groupmates are involved, they feel odd for not being a part of it. So they just want to be involved.
To join
exactly.
And suit.
But it's wrong. We've got to train the people to understand that there is a reason God instituted relationships. That reason is so that the marriage can be in view, and then they can have a beautiful marriage. Now, if marriage is in view, then there are certain things that the woman should consider. Marriage is a kind of partnership. You don't partner with somebody you're not going the same place. The Bible says, can two work together except they agree? It's not possible. Sonny cannot partner with Julius Berger. They are not in the same league. Even though they want to, at most they go and buy up Julius Berger. But if you want partnership where two people are involved to make one thing work, then that one thing must be defined. You see, so if we have a definition of where we are going, and then considering our personalities and our characters as well as our individual assignments in life, we think that we can make it happen together. So both hands come on deck, and then we're making something happen. Now, under that kind of a relationship, there could be hurt. But at that plane, it is a lot easier to handle the differences because
there's a sense of purpose.
Exactly.
And there's a direction.
Exactly. It's just like somebody is in a medical school, for example, is in his first year. Now, he's looking up to someday he's going to be a doctor. Now, he may wake up in the morning and he's so cold he doesn't want to go to class. But the anxiety and the excitement of what lies ahead keeps him going. No one graduated from school because they had a wonderful time in school. Everyone had difficulties. They had challenges. Some of them were out of school. Some have been out of several schools before they finally bagged their degree. But it's the dream that they kept alive that kept them all the while. So if there's a dream that the couple are looking up to, it will help them to solve and weather the storm that will come, because the storms are guaranteed to come. As long as we live on this plane of life, they are guaranteed to come. It's only in heaven where things are perfect. Here, things are meant. That's why God gave us His word, so that we too can mend the wrongs, because things are supposed to go wrong. So let's get the purpose clear. When the young lady and the young man have identified their purposes in life, and then the young man comes asking the lady out, or the lady asking the guy out, as the case may be, now we decide, why are we coming together? Is it because she's got pointed nose? Now, pointed nose doesn't make a marriage. So we've got to know what we're in for. When the lady sees the young man who is going the direction that she's capable of helping, I tell young ladies, don't say yes to a guy who cannot be a part of his destiny. Because what Eve was meant for is to help Adam achieve a purpose. So if the lady thinks he's going to be a minus, in fact, the guy shouldn't even consider coming in the first place. Nobody wants a liability, not in the 21st century.